Welcome back to BadgerBlitz TV, your Rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by my good friend, Rivals.com national analyst, Clint Cosgrove. Like we always say, buddy, it's the best time of the week.
Best time of the week. Time to be awesome.
Let's be awesome today. Do you know what was awesome? The Cincinnati freaking Rivals camp.
Let's go.
Dudes. There were some dudes, but
dude
of dudes there was none other than Wisconsin commit Kyan Berry-Johnson. Once again, he balled out in the camp setting. What makes him so good in these camp settings that he's just annihilating people?
It's crazy. I mean, he's just that good of a football player. You know, when you look at the guys who usually guys in the 4 or 5 star conversation are just, they're more physically gifted than those around them. Kyan doesn't have elite size. He's working. He has elite quickness. He has elite route running ability. I don't have a 40 time on him, so I don't know if he can necessarily take the top off, but the kid's a slot machine. I said before the day, I went on record, Kyan, saying that you have arguably the best ball skills that I've ever seen in my life. I was like, if you drop a ball today, I'll be all over you. And he literally did not drop a ball. He was open every single time. The kid is just freaky good as a player, and it happens every time. So, like, I've never seen a kid, no matter how talented they are, never have like a fall off performance. The kid's elite every time he shows up to compete. It's just different, and you know, there's always a lot of Wisconsin bias conversations that go on out there. So when it came time for the wide receiver MVP, I was like, I'm staying out of this call. I'm not going to say anything. And our Texas analyst, he goes, I don't care what you say. He's like, that kid committed to Wisconsin. He didn't even know his name. He's like, that kid is the MVP. I don't care. He's like, and I won't back down on it. I was like, if you feel that strong about it, and I know what I saw, I was like, he's the MVP. And then you go back and watch the film. I was so busy, you know, doing administrative stuff and like everything that goes with it being like your regional camp, that I didn't get to see every rep. I went back and watched the film, like straight dog. It's unbelievable. For those who haven't watched the film, go and watch the best of one-on-ones.
Those one-on-ones were, I mean, and some of the dudes he was going against are 4-star corners. Like, these are big-time dudes. Like, and he was, like you said, like, he was breaking off routes on these guys, just had them stumbling over their feet. I mean, Phil Longo's got to be drooling.
Yeah, I'm just like, there's certain people as receivers, and some of the greatest ever, like Jerry Rice was a 4.6 guy. They have this innate feeling when they're on the field, and they can feel what's going on around them. They can feel the way that they manipulate their body. It's almost like being like an empath in life, like feeling other people. They can feel how people are going to react to the way they manipulate their body throughout their routes. And he is elite in that category. And then you add on the point. So there's people who can do that, very few, but there's people who can do that, and then they can't always finish with the catch. Kyan finishes with the catch every time. So he has this like this extra sense on the football field, and that's why he's able to do what he is, what he's able to do. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the 4-star conversation, even though he doesn't have your 10.5 speed and your 6.3 frame. He's just too good. He really is.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a sight to behold. I loved watching those one-on-ones. What were some other things? I know you were doing a lot of administrative stuff there. What were some other things or some other guys that stood out? And what was sort of the general vibe at the Cincinnati camp?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that stood out. You know, when I get dialed in on my evals and the kids and stuff, like I'm dialed in, so the administrative stuff falls to the side, but then I'm scrambling, so I missed out on stuff later. But, you know, so there was a lot of good players. You know, the O-line, D-line group in the morning, there was a lot of guys who canceled last second, which kind of stung. But it was cold. There was other things going on. Guys had excuses, whatnot. But, you know, the twin brothers who just, was it Mercer and, gosh, I'm going blank. The Luniewski Brothers.
The Luniewski Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
so let's talk about those guys, because shout out to Shootsman, who is always pumping us with the most questions and the most content. over there in the Badgers Den. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already. Let's talk about these guys because they are an interesting set of brothers. I think they have some pretty big upside.
Yeah, like that was when I was talking with the other, not only just the analysts, but the other team side people when they were there, and we were saying, we're like, these are the guys that go to Indiana, Louisville, Wisconsin, and then they just end up being early round draft picks like a couple of years from now. Like they're just dudes. Like
Mercer and Charlton Luniewski.
Yeah,
two big bad boys. It's really what it is.
Yeah, and like, so I interviewed them. It was the first. I couldn't wait to meet them because, like, it's funny just watching them on Twitter. They're like, me and my twin got this, and like they would speak each other. Like they had like a sixth sense between the two of them. They would like, I'd have to ask which one was which. Like one's a little bit taller than the other. One won the MVP, but the one who won the MVP wasn't as good in one-on-ones as his brother was, and like. So, like, there's just so much to like about them. We did a survey question, which of the new staffs in the Midwest have made the biggest impact on the recruiting trail? They both said Wisconsin, hands down. They were excited to get up there. These are guys who I could see end up being Badgers, and they're very good football players. They're just scratching the surface, too. They're huge, man. They're big bodies. They're athletic. They are so likable. Like,
so I was going to say, in those one-on-ones, what really surprised, like, really light feet from both of them, and just able to. It's just I was impressed with how well they moved, given their size. Like that was pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, and you know what? They're big, and they're not like, chubby. They're like pretty lean.
They're
for
broad.
How big they are.
They're broad but lean.
They really are, and just great attitude. Love football. A lot of these big time kids, they come in and expect everything. They want to earn everything. Like Mercer won the MVP. He's slightly taller, but really Charlton was probably better during one-on-ones. It was just start to finish, just the size and everything that that got Mercer the MVP. But these guys are good, and the thing with Mercer is like he went up against like most of his reps during one-on-ones, which is crazy because Marquise won the defensive line MVP. Is like he was going up against Marquise, and those were some good battles. So like these are high upside kids. They were excited to get up to Wisconsin. Their recruitment's really blown up over the last few months. Like I didn't even know who they were 6 months ago, probably. And just talking with them, I was like, they were phenomenal to be around. I think they'd be a great culture fit, and they'll definitely have some stars coming up next rankings release.
Well, I know there's another guy who has some definite interest, or Wisconsin is interested in. It seems they brought him up recently. It was Andre Lovett, a 2025 prospect out of the state of Illinois. Shout out to Shootsy again for bringing him up, because I think he's an interesting athlete who you could project on either side of the ball. Do you have a side where you like him more, and what do you think about him?
Yeah, I like him at safety. I think very highly of him because his ceiling is incredible. He's pushing, I don't have the exact measurements in front of me, but he's pushing 6'3". He's as long as all get out. He is athletic, a lot of young DBs, and he's still growing into his body. But he did a great job. His ability to recover when beat is phenomenal. He's just so long. He's such a long strider. He's a competitor. He's definitely a guy that, I think, he's a future NFL pick if everything comes together, just because he has the frame. Now he's growing into his frame. I'm interested to see, does he keep growing vertically? Like, because he's thin right now, he's athletic, he's got all the tools, the body control's coming, and he's going to be a very good player. If I'm Wisconsin, he's a take all day for me, and he'll continue to blow up. He's at a very raw stage of his career, but at the same time, he's a very good player right now, and he's a heck of a competitor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, right, if he sticks at safety at that size. Because, I mean, I see him almost as, he's a type that could grow into, potentially like a middle linebacker. I think Matt Milano, right? Like Matt Milano, who plays for the Bills, is a safety at Boston College and basically just has to grow into an off-ball linebacker at the next level because of that size, speed, football IQ combination.
Yeah, and Andre's he's a little narrow, so I don't know how much weight he is going to put on.
Good point.
But he's also very young and he's still growing. It's like each time I see him, he's an inch taller. And so he could end up being 220 pounds. I don't know. Like,
well, then you're in Kyle Hamilton territory.
I would love it if he could get to 220. He's insane as a linebacker because he's a physical kid and he has the want to. So, there's a lot to like Andre, and he's a great kid too. He's a phenomenal kid.
Well, you mentioned the Luniewski Brothers said, the Badger staff had been, kind of pretty active and, of the new staffs had been, really out there. You said some other guys were saying that too. Is that sort of like the general vibe around the Cincinnati Cap? I mean, there's going to be a lot more Wisconsin targets at Cincinnati than there were in Atlanta just because of, geographic reasons.
Yeah, we did a survey of, like I said, the new staffs that are making the biggest impact on the road. We were very close to Louisville. A lot of those kids had just come from Louisville, so Louisville probably got the most. Purdue got a lot of love too, with Corey Patterson, who's the St. Louis head coach. Yeah, it's a really good staff. They're young. They like the energy. And then Wisconsin got love too. So it was interesting. There was all of the new staffs have done a good job, but like in the past, you would never hear Wisconsin mentioned and that, making an impact on the recruiting trail before. So that was cool to see. That was cool to hear. They definitely made their presence felt. And even guys who didn't have offers from Wisconsin had glowing things to say about just them coming through the school. They're like, yeah, we see Wisconsin's making their presence, especially in Ohio. So
yeah, they're visible. And I think that they've got Greg Scruggs doing that territory as well, the defensive line coach.
Who do you want to run through a wall for?
Bernie and I talked to him earlier today. That interview will release, I think, 2 days after this does. But oh my God, that guy, like, I see why you'd want to play for him. Like, I see why you want to play for him. That, like, he's just like, he brings the best out of you. You can see he's like kind of that. Oh God, it's awesome. I'm watching that, plugging myself here. Gonna get you out of here on this, talking sort of some big picture stuff. Super Badger, one of our most active people in the den, shout out Soup, wants to know sort of the standard operating procedure. It's different. We've seen guys now, a lot of more in-state guys heading up. 3 Penn State guys already headed from the state of Wisconsin, Sexton and the 2 kids from Catholic Memorial, all, but there's a lot more offers out there. Is this sort of the new era, new standard operating procedure? They're just going to try to get more and more guys in the funnel. And because of that, like, you're going to see more local guys maybe not fall through the cracks, just not necessarily be priorities.
Yeah. A lot of it's speculation from my end. I think they're going to, I do think, over time, this is a new staff. They are going to make Wisconsin a priority. There's no question about that. Not every kid who's rated high, not every kid who maybe the fans want are going to be a perfect fit. So there's going to be kids who go elsewhere, especially in today's age of recruiting, where everything it's almost the globalization. It's not, out of the realm of possibilities for a school like Alabama to go to Wisconsin and offer it. It's not that hard. The film, the camps, like everything like that. So you're going to see more and more of that. And then, like, there was a graphic that came out the other day. In the past 10 years, most first-round draft picks by state. And you're sitting there looking at Wisconsin with 5 and Iowa with 5. Per capita, I'm like, this is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. So there's the talent's there. And the thing you love about the Wisconsin kids is their incredible upside. And kids down in Texas, as good as they are coming out, a lot of them have maxed out. Now, they've maxed out at a very high level. They make them NFL players. But so I do think you're going to continue to see outside schools come into Wisconsin and go after those kids. But at the same time, you're going to see Wisconsin staff cast a wider net and go after the biggest, baddest prospects from across the nation. It's no longer, they got to be within 200 miles. It's no longer they have to have a connection. It's no longer we don't want to fight with the big boys. It's we can compete with the big boys. We're going to go after the guys we want. Yes, we're going to try to keep the best of in-state home to our ability, to what fits what we're doing, to admissions and everything like that. So like, you don't like seeing a lot of in-state kids go, especially to Penn State, school that's in the conference. But at the same time, I think they're going to be more than fine with this class. Like I said, it's a new staff from Ohio. There isn't the Wisconsin connections that you have in the past. Just from talking with the staff, they know the importance of keeping in-state kids home, but that might take some time. Now, if they weren't going out and getting the big-time kids from other places, like this new staff, they see Chicagoland as being part of Wisconsin at this point. So,
absolutely.
If you're getting those kids, that it's a whole different deal. That's an extension of Wisconsin. So yeah, do you want to see the in-state kids stay home? Absolutely. I think it will happen. I think this is just part of the process. Corey Smith, he's a big time back. He is.
Yeah.
You'd love to have him. Penn State is where he's going, at least for now. And but Wisconsin fans getting down on 3 in-state kids going to Penn State. It is what it is.
It's 2023 recruiting. That's what it is.
It is. It is. And I do still think that they can eventually lock down the state, but that takes time, especially when you have a total transition. So, would you like to have Corey Smith? Yes, you would. I remember.
Of course, you would.
When I talked to him earlier today, I was going through his Twitter because I was like, he was always kind of down low on the recruitment. I was like, he never released a top list, did he? And I was going through and I saw Dally's Wisconsin put on a clip from his high school state championship game where he freaking spins out of a tackle, sidesteps the guy and hits the home run. And I was like, good Lord, he is as good as I thought he was. So, you'd like to have a player like that stay home. But, as far as what Wisconsin's doing on the recruiting trail, casting that wide net, but also they're focusing in on guys that they have a chance at the same time. And these are guys that sometimes Wisconsin would have even swung the bat at in the past. So I think this is going to be a very good class. I think you're going to see probably some of the highest rated recruiting classes that Wisconsin has had in years coming up in the next few years because they get after it on the recruiting trail. Maximus Steinecker, fantastic job. They know exactly what they're doing. I get a little insight to what's going on there, and I feel very confident in their process.
Yeah, but what Maximus and Pat Lambert have been doing is definitely a stark change from what came before, just in terms of the volume of content that comes out of the recruiting department, right? As well as you see a lot more of. We've been seeing more and more kids obviously have these fancy graphics, right? Someone's photoshopped a bunch of the logos together with them doing something super badass at the field, right? But now it used to never really be the Badgers got the kids with the graphics, right? It was always just the kid. It was, and now you see more and more quote unquote graphics kids. It's not this isn't meant to be an indictment whatsoever on any of that, because I think it's
no question.
No, but I just think it's really, it tends to be the national recruits who get, those big time graphics. And yes, more and more kids are able to get them because everyone can use Photoshop these days, but you know what I'm saying, right? And so you get more and more of it. And it's interesting to see. And then, another kid commits. Well, someone else has made a graphic that has him also in a Badgers uniform with the other rest of the commits. And it's building a sense of external community with the class that I don't think was there before.
Yeah. In the past, when I went to these big events, whether it be a 7-on-7 or the kids who talked about Wisconsin were the guys who Wisconsin had targeted. Now there's a buzz. You hear Wisconsin, whether they're going to get a kid or not, Wisconsin's coming out of big-time players' names repeatedly. And that just hasn't been the case. And it's not an indictment on the old staff because they won ball games. They knew what they were doing. They just had a different style.
Yeah.
And, in today's day and age and in terms of recruit engagement and fan engagement and everything, I think what they're doing right now is this is the path that you need to take if you want to take that next step from being a contender in the Big Ten to being a national championship contender. Right. And so you might take some losses along the way, but long-term, big picture, there's going to be more talent coming to Madison than we've seen in a long time.
Definitely. All right, Clint. Well, we appreciate you and your analysis, and we appreciate you coming back strong from the road. You've been on the road the last couple of weekends. We busy season for you. You need to get some rest,
I got a haircut to shave.
You look great. I shaved today too, Clint. We're both here. We're both camera ready. My T-zone's still a little bit, still a little bit shiny.
Yeah,
but
we can see I got my face is a little fatter than I had hoped, but
new lowest weight since I was in college, since I just after I graduated from college this week. So I'm very proud.
I think I'm new highest weight. So I'm going to take this weekend to start working out again.
Oh, way to go, buddy. Well, you guys can follow Clint on all the social medias at Rivals_Clint. I am Matt Perkins on Twitter at _Perko_. Follow Believe in Badgers on YouTube and listen to us. Follow BadgerBlitz on YouTube. Subscribe to BadgerBlitz because you know you want to. Best information out there. Shout out John McNamara, the best that there is in the biz when it comes to editing. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the den.
In the den.